Hey people, today I will be covering the rest of the Starman video, which is now the characters that don't have to do with the Knight family or have relatively little appeared in stories with Ted Knight or Jack Knight. And finally I'm gonna mention some characters who have not been discussed yet but have also taken up the mantle of Starman, but very briefly, and there's not so much to say about them, so yeah. Now, first of all, we have Starman, alias Starboy, who is a member of the Legend of Superheroes, and he was created by Otto Binder and George Pubb. Now, he had his first appearance in Adventure Comics issue 282 in March 1961, then was reintroduced to the DC universe and after Post Zero Hour, so like Post Zero Hour in Legionnaires issue 0 October 1994, and then he was again reintroduced into the DC continuity to this time to Earth Prime in Teen Titans The Legion Special issue number 1 from November 2004, and recently he reappeared in Superman Volume 5 issue 14, that was in October 2019. And with that I mean post rebirth. Now this Starman's real name is Tom Calor, and he has the superhuman ability to temporarily increase the mass of an object up to the mass of a star. Now, like I said, this version is not really connected to the other Starmen, even less, like probably the least connected to the other Starmen. Why has he the same name? I don't know. But yeah, with all Legion of Superhero characters, it's always a bit complicated. But yeah, pre Zero Hour, his origin was like that he was born on an observatory satellite orbiting the planet Xantu, and originally he gained Kryptonian level powers like those of Superman. So he was hella strong. But in time those faded, leaving only his original density power. Now he was expelled from the Legion after killing his girlfriend, Kent Noor, although he did it in self-defense, but still it broke the Legion's no killing rule. After this, he and a fellow Legion of Superhero member, Dream Girl, joined the Legion of Substitute Heroes for a time before returning to the main Legion. Now, originally Starboy wore a purple uniform with a white cape and a 5-pointed yellow star on his chest, but that has been changed since then to a completely black outfit with white stars on it. Now, the really interesting part about uh, the Tom Calor version is that he's a bit insane. So he's schizophrenic, he has voices and stuff. So, and that was temporarily cured by the villain Gog. But when it turned out that Gog was actually harmful to Earth and they had to get rid of him, he turned on humanity and uh, took all the gifts back he gave certain heroes. Like in Tom's case, he made him sane again. Now the Tom Callow version was, like I said, last seen in the Kingdom storyline where this happened, or with Gog. I'm not really a fan of this character, but whatever. Um, During a battle with the Justice Society of Earth 2, it is revealed that his starsuit was designed by Brainiac 5, and that's a, and that it's a map to the multiverse, which I think is again really interesting. So he had a couple of adventures with the JSA, but retired from his superhero stick shtick after he became schizophrenic again, working in a gravedigger job where he found ultimately the corpse of Superboy and restoring him to life with uh, with technology from the legends from the Legion of Superheroes. Now, the last thing I want to say is that neither the post-Zero Hour or the Earth Prime version or the post-Rebirth version ever took the Starman title, and that was just pre-Zero Hour. On to Starman number 5. This version was introduced in first issue special number 12 in March 1976, and I'm not kidding, the comic book is called First Issue Special. And he had his reintroduction in The Shade Volume 2, issue number 1 in December 2011. Now, Mikhail Thomas was originally created as a one-off character by Jerry Conway and Mike Rosberg, with an origin similar to that of Marvel's Captain Marvel. This Starman was again not related to Ted Knight, and his name was rather an homage to a David Bowie song about a benevolent alien. Now, Mikhail stems from Talakite 3, which is very close to another planet called Talakite 8, and he has blue skin. Now, there's a slight difference between the Talakites from Talakite 3 and Talakite 8, but they all belong to the same race, so even if one of them is slightly brighter colored. Now instead, he was sent to Earth to conquer it, but instead he turned around and became its protector. I mean, one of the many protectors. Uh, as a as a superhero based in Opal City, he was heavily featured in the previously mentioned 1990s Starman series by James Robinson, where he interacted with the Starman family for the first time properly. Um, the comic book also featured him as being in a gay relationship, which was groundbreaking for that time, but not Mikhail's defining character trait. Now, because of James Robinson, Mikhail Thomas would become a member of the Justice League, where he made close friends with the weird ass hero Congarilla. Unfortunately, he had the bad luck of starring in the utterly jarring and bad Cry for Justice arc, also by James Robinson, and wasn't really seen afterwards. Now but he was shown during the New 52 back again in Opal City as a solo superhero. Starman's number 6 is a creation of Steve Ditko and Paul Levitz. Now this time it's an alien prince and his name is Gavin, who started off as a spoiled playboy prince of an alien empire which contained over 24 inhabited worlds. Now Gavin was a prince of the planet Craneltine, the throne world of the Crown Imperial. Upon the death of Emperor Rilsum, his more mature sister Clarissa became queen, and he became her protector of Throne World and of her sister. But eventually, his sister was assassinated, meaning that the spoiled prince had to step up, and Gavin became ruler of Throne World. Now, Prince Gavin was among the many victims during Crisis of Infinite Earths, but instead of truly dying, it's later revealed that Prince Gavin was transformed into pure energy and was also the source of the power source of the next Starman. And it's still unclear if he just inhabits the body of the next Starman or if this is actually Gavin and Peyton and Will Peyton. Starman number 7 is completely dead. Now, personally, I also don't really like this iteration of the character. His costume kind of looks whack, and This stick he uses, well, it's a stick, not like a space apparatus or anything like that. Kind of looks stupid, like a shepherd walking around in space. The big problem with Starman number 7 is that nobody really cared or knows what to do with him, because he was created by Roger Stern, who is a quite big name in the comic book industry, and Tom Lyle. Now, while hiking, the magazine copy editor Will Payton was struck by a mysterious energy, a source from outer space. This turned him into a living, breathing star, and he began a short superhero career, battling many foes and assisting even Superman. But then he quickly faded out of comics, just as the Will Payton persona. Because as it turns out, the energy that uh, gives him his powers was the previous Starman, who had now sort of taken over the body of Will Payton. He then died fighting against Eclipso early in the 90s, just 4 years after his introduction, but then made a reappearance in Jack Knight's Starman miniseries, where he was locked up in Throne World, and Jack Knight as well as Mikhail Thomas had had to come to save him and get him out of prison. Now, because Jack Knight's girlfriend, is the sister of Will Payton. That's mainly their reason why they went to Throne World to save him. But anyway, and then he was killed off again because nobody knew what to do with him. It wasn't until DC Rebirth that Will Payton returned with a slightly reworked backstory that was no longer connected to the Prince Gavin character. Although he didn't stick around for too long again, because he was killed after just 2 years after his return to comics. Now originally introduced in Starman issue number 1 in October 1980, Annan made his and then died in Eclipso: The Darkness Within, issue number 2, October 1992. And although he died in that Eclipso comic book, he later reappeared, just as I said. Now, after the DC Rebirth, he appeared in Dark Knight's Metal issue number 1 in October 2017. Man, October is such a bad month for him, you know. That was when his DC Rebirth version was introduced. And then the post-Rebirth version died in Justice League Volume 4, issue 34 in December 2019. The last Starman I want to talk about for this day, and then I have everything finished about Starman, is Ferrous Knight, who was created by Grant Morrison and artist Howard Porter. He was first introduced in JLA issue 23 in October 1998 and made his last appearance / the appearance of his death was in DC 1 Million issue number 3 in November 1998. He's a descendant of Ted Knight in the 853rd century. Sorry, my mistake. And he was actually working for the villain Solaris, who is the big bad villain of DC 1 Million. Now, he traveled back in time to kill Ted Knight, but upon meeting his progenitor, Ferrous has a change of heart and he ultimately sacrifices himself to save the modern time from Solaris' influence that this evil son has from the future on modern times. Now, just before I end this video, I want to thank you for all of your patience, and let me tell you of some more who took the name. Additionally, a bad guy named Victor Sono used the Starman mantle during the Wild West. He was an enemy of Jonah Hex, but there's simply not enough information to make a video about him too. Now then there's also Ted Knight's girlfriend Doris Lee. She got to be a star woman for a day by using the cosmic rod. And Batman also had a Starman, had a villain with the name Starman, although there was a hyphen between Star and Man. Weirdly enough, Batman himself became Starman once, like I previously mentioned in the Charles McNider segment from last week, but that was reckoned to be Charles McNider. Now anyway, thank you for all of your patience. These two videos took damn long to make and to edit and to render. I hope you enjoyed it, and we see us next Sunday, where I have hopefully a new subject to talk about.
Well, the books are full of words that you read, and the show gets me paid